The Galactic Coalition Academy had trained soldiers from over 200 different species for 300 years. Every year, they sent their best cadets to the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. It was a test. Only the strongest survived. Commander Zethral stood before 500 cadets in the Great Hall. He was tall and thin, with skin that glowed soft blue when he spoke. Behind him, a large screen showed a spinning planet. It was blue and green, covered in white clouds. "This year, we add a new world to our survival program," he said. His voice was calm but serious. "The planet is called Earth. It is the home of the humans." The cadets began to whisper. Everyone had heard stories about Earth. The humans had joined the coalition only 15 years ago. Their planet was still a mystery to most species. "You will be dropped in teams of 4, Zethral continued. "You must survive for 30 days. No help, no rescue, only your skills and your teammates." A female cadet named Kira raised one of her 4 arms. She was a Meridian, tall and graceful, with purple skin and eyes that could see in the dark. "Commander, what are the dangers on this planet?" Zethral pressed a button. The screen changed to show images. A massive bear with teeth like knives. A snake coiled and ready to strike. A storm so large it covered half a continent. "Earth has predators that can kill most species in seconds," he said. "The air contains high levels of oxygen, which is toxic to many of you. The gravity is strong enough to break bones. The weather can change from calm to deadly in minutes." More whispers spread through the crowd. A large cadet named Tith, whose body was made of living stone, leaned toward his neighbor. "I heard their sun gives off radiation that burns skin." "That is true," his neighbor replied. "A small bird-like creature named Sorrel, whose feathers never stop moving. I also heard they have insects that carry diseases with no cure." At the back of the hall, sitting alone, was a young man who listened to everything with a small smile on his face. His name was Cole Harris. He was 23 years old, with brown hair and quiet eyes. Unlike everyone else in the room, he was not afraid, because Cole was human, and Earth was his home. He had grown up in Montana, a place of mountains and forests and endless sky. His father had taught him to hunt, to fish, to survive in the wild. By the time he was 10, Cole could build a fire without matches, find water in a desert, and track animals through snowdot when humans joined the coalition. Cole had been one of the first to apply to the academy. He wanted to see the stars. He wanted to prove that humans belonged among the older species, but he had never told anyone about his childhood. His record said he was Terran, yes, but the other cadets did not understand what that meant. To them, he was just another soft-skinned mammal, weak and unremarkable. Cole planned to change their minds. The computer assigned the teams randomly. Cole found himself grouped with Kira, the Meridian, Tith, the stone giant, and Sorrel, the bird creature. They met in a small room to prepare for their mission. "I have filed a complaint," Sorrel announced immediately. His feathers were standing straight up. "This mission is suicide. Earth is clearly too dangerous for any civilized species." The complaint was rejected, Kira said. She was reading from a tablet, her 4 arms moving quickly. "We leave in 7 days." Tith made a sound like rocks grinding together. "Then we prepare. I have studied the data. We are assigned to something called a temperate forest." Cole pulled up the coordinates on his own tablet. Pacific Northwest. Old growth trees. Plenty of water. Mild weather compared to other parts of Earth. The Academy had actually given them an easy location. "This could be worse," Cole said. The others turned to stare at him. Sorrel's feathers flattened against his body. "Worse? Did you not see the predators? The storms? The poisonous plants?" "I saw them," Cole said calmly. But those specific dangers are not common in the Pacific Northwest. We will face challenges, yes, but nothing we cannot handle if we prepare properly. Kira studied him with her dark purple eyes. You seem very calm about this. Cole shrugged. Panic does not help survival. Preparation does. For the next 7 days, the team studied everything they could about Earth. Cole watched his teammates grow more and more afraid. They learned about the oxygen that would burn their lungs, the gravity that would tire their muscles, the thousands of ways the planet could kill them. What they did not see was the beauty. Cole caught glimpses of it in the training videos. Sunlight through leaves, rivers cutting through stone, mountains reaching toward blue sky. He missed it more than he had expected. The night before departure, Cole stood alone in the observation room. Through the windows, he could see 1,000,000 stars. Somewhere out there, too far to see, was a small yellow sun. And around that sun, a small blue planet where he had learned to be strong. You are not sleeping, said a deep voice behind him. Tith walked forward, his stone body reflecting the starlight. I am not sleeping either. Tomorrow, we enter the unknown. Are you nervous? Cole asked. Gorvians do not feel nervousness, Tith said. Then he paused. But I am uncertain. My species evolved on a world of stability. No storms, few predators. Earth is the opposite of everything I know. Cole considered his words carefully. He had kept his secret for 2 years at the academy. But tomorrow, everything would change. Earth is dangerous, he said slowly. I will not lie about that. But it is also survivable. Billions of creatures have figured out how to live there. We just need to learn the rules. You speak as if you know these rules. Cole took a deep breath. He made a decision. I do know them. Because I am from Earth. I grew up there. That planet is my home. Tith was silent for a long moment. His stone face showed no expression, but Cole could sense his surprise. You are from the Death World, Tith said finally. You survived childhood there. Not just survived, Cole said. I thrived. And for the next 30 days, I'm going to teach you how to do the same. The drop pod launched at dawn. Cole felt the familiar shake as they entered Earth's atmosphere. Through the small window, he saw blue ocean, then green coastline, then endless forest. When the hatch opened, he was the first one out. His boots touched soft ground covered in moss and fallen leaves. The air filled his lungs, rich and sweet and perfect. Pine and cedar. Wet earth. The promise of rain. Home. Behind him, his teammates stumbled out of the pod. Sorrel was coughing, his lungs fighting the oxygen. Kira moved carefully, her sensors scanning everything. Tiff stood still, adjusting to the gravity. Welcome to Earth, Cole said. Your training starts now. Follow me and do exactly what I say. In 30 days, you will understand why humanity is not a species to underestimate. He turned and walked into the forest. After a moment, he heard their footsteps following. The countdown had begun. The first 3 days were terrible for everyone except Cole. Sorrel could barely breathe. The oxygen in the air was too strong for his small lungs. Every few minutes, he had to stop and rest, his feathers drooping with exhaustion. Kira's forearms kept getting caught in branches and vines. She was used to open spaces, not dense forest. Tith was too big. His stone body crashed through bushes and snapped branches with every step. Any animal within a kilometer could hear him coming. Cole watched him struggle. At the academy, they were trained to fight, to conquer, to dominate. But Earth did not work that way. You could not fight a forest. You had to learn to live with it. On the second morning, Cole gathered them together. Forget everything the academy taught you, he said. On this planet, we do things differently. He pointed to a fallen log covered in green moss. See how the moss grows thicker on one side? That tells you which way is north. The sun hits this side less, so the moss grows more. Kira leaned closer, her purple eyes studying the pattern. The academy teaches us to use equipment for navigation. Equipment breaks. Batteries die. Cole gestured at the forest around them. This never breaks. It has been here for millions of years. Learn to read it. He spent the next several hours teaching them basic skills. How to find water by following animal tracks. How to test plants for poison. How to build a shelter that would keep out rain and cold. His teammates listened carefully, asking questions, practicing each technique. By the end of the first week, they had a real camp. Cole had shown them how to build a shelter using fallen branches and layers of bark. They had clean water from a nearby stream. They had food from plants that Cole had identified as safe to eat. Then Sorrel almost died. On the fourth day, the bird creature wandered away from camp. He found a bush covered in small red berries. They looked exactly like the training berries from the academy simulations. He ate 8 of them before Cole found him. "What did you eat?" Cole asked, his heart pounding. "The red berries," Sorrel said weakly. His feathers were already starting to droop. They looked safe. Cole recognized the plant immediately. Nightshade. One of the most poisonous plants in North America. In large doses, it could kill a human in hours. He had no idea what it would do to a Phylaxian. "I need you to drink water," Cole said, keeping his voice calm. "As much as you can. Then I am going to help you vomit. It will not be pleasant, but it might save your life." The next 4 hours were the longest of Cole's life. He used every trick his father had taught him about wilderness medicine. He made Sorrel drink water until his stomach was full, then helped him throw it all up. He found certain roots that could absorb poison and made Sorrel chew them. He kept the bird creature talking, moving. Awake. When Sorrel finally stabilized, shaking but alive. The Phylaxian looked at Cole with wonder in his eyes. "You saved my life," he whispered. "I knew what those berries were because I grew up learning the difference between safe and deadly plants." Cole sat back, exhausted. "From now on, nobody eats anything without asking me first. Nothing. Not a berry, not a leaf, not a root. Understood?" 3 heads nodded. After that day, everything changed. Before, his teammates had been curious about Cole. Now, they trusted him completely. They followed his instructions without question. They asked him to teach them everything he knew. So Cole became a teacher. He taught them about animal tracks, how to tell the difference between deer and elk, between rabbits and raccoons. He taught them about weather, how to read the clouds, how to feel changes in the air that meant a storm was coming. He taught them how to find safe places to sleep, how to avoid dangerous areas, how to move through the forest without making sound. Most importantly, he taught them how to see. "Your problem," he told Kira one morning, "is that you look for specific things, food, danger, water, but you do not see the forest." "I see the forest," Kira said, gesturing at the trees around them. "It is right there. You see trees, individual objects." Cole stopped walking and faced her. "You do not see the system. Everything here is connected. The trees feed the soil. The soil feeds the mushrooms. The mushrooms feed the trees. The deer eat the plants. The wolves eat the deer. When the wolves die, they feed the plants. It is a cycle. Once you understand the cycle, you can predict what will happen next." Kira was quiet for a long moment. "This is not how we are trained. The academy trains you to survive by conquering your environment. Earth does not work that way. You cannot conquer an ecosystem that has been developing for billions of years. You have to work with it." Slowly, his teammates began to change. Kira started noticing things before Cole pointed them out. A change in bird calls, that meant a predator was nearby. A shift in wind that meant rain was coming. Tiff learned to move through the forest with surprising quiet, using his stone skin as camouflage among rocks and fallen logs. Sorrel, with his keen senses, became their early warning system, able to detect danger before anyone else. On the 12th day, Sorrel suddenly froze. His feathers stood straight up. "Something is coming," he whispered. "Something large." From the northwest, Toll immediately signaled for silence. They moved to hiding positions around the camp and waited. The black bear emerged from the bushes a few minutes later. It was huge. At least 400 pounds of muscle and fur and teeth. It moved through their camp like it owned the place, sniffing the air, investigating their fire pit, checking for food. Cole had prepared for this moment. He had explained bear behavior to his teammates many times. Now he watched as they followed his instructions perfectly. No sudden movements. No eye contact. No signs of fear or aggression. Just stillness. The bear circled the camp. It looked at them. It sniffed the air. Then, satisfied that these strange creatures were not a threat, it simply walked away. Sorrel let out a long breath. "That thing could have killed us all." "Probably," Cole agreed. "But it did not want to. Bears are not aggressive unless they feel threatened. We showed it we were not a threat, so it left us alone." "On any other survival world," Kira said slowly, "we would be told to kill such a predator immediately. And on any other world, that might be correct. But Earth is different. Everything has its place. Kill that bear, and you change the whole system. Maybe more deer survive because there is one less predator. Maybe the extra deer eat too many plants. Maybe the plants die and the soil washes away. You cannot remove pieces without consequences." Tiff made a rumbling sound. "You are saying that survival on Earth is not about strength. It is about balance." "Yes," Cole said. "Exactly." Halfway through the assignment, Cole realized something had changed. His teammates were no longer just surviving. They were learning. They were growing. They were beginning to see Earth not as an enemy, but as a teacher. And for the first time since leaving home, Cole felt like he belonged. He had spent 2 years at the academy feeling alone. The only human among thousands of aliens. Different. Strange. An outsider from a world no one understood. But here, in the forests of the Pacific Northwest, surrounded by teammates who were finally seeing what he had always seen, Cole Harris felt something he had almost forgotten. He felt at home. On day 18, the sky changed color. Cole felt it before he saw it. A change in the air pressure. A strange heaviness that pressed against his skin. He had been watching the clouds build over the western mountains for 2 days. He knew what was coming. "We need to prepare," he announced that morning. "A big storm is coming. It will hit us by tomorrow night." Kira checked her sensors. "I am detecting some changes in humidity, but nothing that suggests a major storm. Your sensors are designed for normal planets. Earth's weather is not normal." Cole looked at the sky, at the clouds that were slowly turning gray. "Trust me on this." They spent the whole day getting ready. Cole showed them how to strengthen their shelter with extra branches and bark. They collected firewood and stored it in piles covered with leaves to keep it dry. They dug small trenches around the camp to channel water away. They built raised platforms to sleep on in case the ground flooded. "You have done this before," Tith observed as he carried armloads of branches. "Many times," Cole said. "Montana winters can be brutal. My father and I spent weeks preparing our ranch every autumn. Storms there can kill you if you are not ready." By sunset, on day 19, the sky had turned a strange greenish gray. Cole recognized that color with a chill running down his spine. This was going to be worse than he had expected. "Everyone inside the shelter," he ordered. Nobody leaves for any reason until I say so. The storm arrived 3 hours later. It was not just rain. It was a wall of water falling from the sky in solid sheets. Lightning split the darkness every few seconds, so bright it hurt to look at. Thunder crashed so loud, it seemed to shake the very earth beneath them. Wind screamed through the trees, bending massive pines like they were made of paper. Their shelter shook but held. Cole had built it strong, using techniques his father had perfected over decades of Montana winters. The four of them huddled together in the darkness, listening to the world rage outside. "This is normal?" Sorrel asked, his voice barely audible over the noise. "This happens on your world regularly." "This is moderate," Cole said. "You should see a hurricane. Or tornado." "I do not want to see those things," Sorrel declared. The storm continued through the night. At one point, a tree fell somewhere nearby, crashing to the ground with a sound like an explosion. Cole felt the impact vibrate through his bones. Tith muttered something in his native language, probably a prayer. "Tell me about your home," Kira said suddenly. "About growing up here. I want to understand how any species can evolve on such a world." Cole was quiet for a moment. Memories flooded back. The ranch. The mountains. His father's rough hands teaching him to tie knots and track animals and read the weather. "I grew up in a place called Montana," he began. "Mountains and forests like this, but colder and drier. My family raised cattle, large animals that we kept for food and work." "You lived directly on the land?" Tith asked. "Not in a protected city? 30 kilometers from the nearest town. We had electricity and basic technology, but most of our life was working with the land, feeding animals, fixing fences, dealing with weather and predators and everything that comes with living in the wild." "It sounds difficult," Sorrel said. It was. Cole felt his throat tighten. It was also beautiful. Every morning, I could step outside and see mountains that had been there for millions of years. Every night, the sky was so clear you could see the whole galaxy. When you grow up like that, you learn you are part of something bigger than yourself. Lightning struck nearby with a crash that lit up their shelter like daylight. For a moment, everything was white and loud and terrifying. "Humans did not just survive here," Kira said when the noise faded. "You built civilizations. You developed technology. You reached the stars. All from this world of chaos. We had no choice," Cole said. "Earth is what we had. So we adapted. We learned to predict weather and build shelters. We developed farming to survive winters. We created societies to share resources and knowledge. Every challenge made us stronger. And now your species is one of the fastest rising in the coalition," Tith observed. "Advancing faster than any species in recorded history. When you grow up fighting to survive every day, competition with other species feels almost easy. Earth was our training ground. It gave us advantages we did not even know we had until we met other civilizations." The storm began to fade around midnight. By morning, it had passed completely. The forest looked completely different. Trees were down everywhere. The stream near their camp had become a rushing river. The air smelled of wet earth and something sharp and clean, but they were alive. All of them. Cole led a survey of the damage. Their shelter had held. Their food was safe. Their water collection systems had actually been improved by the rain. Everything they had prepared for had worked. 20 days finished, Kira said, checking her timer. 10 more to go. "The hardest part is over," Cole said. "If we survive that storm, we can handle anything this forest throws at us." It was at that moment that Sorrel's feathers suddenly stood straight up. The Phylaxian turned to the north, his whole body rigid. "Something is wrong," he whispered. "Something is very wrong." Cole immediately went on alert. "What do you sense?" "A signal." Very faint. Sorrel's feathers twitched. It is a distress beacon. Coalition emergency frequency. Someone is calling for help. Cole pulled out his communication device and tuned it to the emergency channel. Sorrel was right. There was a signal, weak but clear, coming from somewhere to the north. Another team, Kira said, running calculations. They must have had trouble during the storm. Cole studied the signal pattern. It was not just an activation. It was a specific code, repeating over and over. He recognized it from his academy training. Medical emergency. Critical injury. Immediate help required. How far? He asked. Approximately 15 kilometers, Kira said. Through very difficult terrain. The storm will have made it even more dangerous. Sorrel's feathers flattened. We studied the maps during preparation. That area has deep valleys, fast rivers, thick forest. Getting there could take days. And we might die trying. Cole looked at his teammates. They had come so far, learned so much. They were finally comfortable, finally safe, finally confident they would survive the full 30 days dot, and now he was going to ask them to risk everything for strangers. We have to go, he said. We are the closest team. If we do not help, whoever is injured will die. But our assignment, Sorrel protested. If we fail to complete 30 days, we fail the course. Then we fail the course. Cole began gathering supplies. I did not come to the academy to earn grades. I came to help. And right now, the best way I can help is to reach those cadets before it is too late. He looked at each of them in turn. Kira's with her forearms and purple skin. Tith with his stone body and deep voice. Sorrel with his nervous feathers and keen senses. 3 aliens who had become his friends. 3 beings who trusted him with their lives. I am going, he said. You can stay here if you want. I will not blame you. Tith was the first to move, gathering his own supplies. Gorvians do not abandon their teammates. Kira picked up her sensor equipment. Meridians do not let others walk into danger alone. Sorrel sighed, his feathers ruffling with anxiety. Thalaxians are apparently fools who follow humans into storms. Cole felt something warm spread through his chest. Pride, gratitude, hope. Then, let us go save some lives, he said. They left there, camped behind and headed north into the unknown. The journey north was the hardest thing any of them had ever done. The storm had transformed the forest into a maze of obstacles. Fallen trees blocked every path. Streams had become deadly rapids. The ground itself was dangerous, hiding sinkholes and mudslides beneath innocent-looking leaves. Cole took the lead. He read the terrain in ways his teammates were only beginning to understand. He could see the safe paths, the stable ground, the routes that would get them where they needed to go. What would take a normal team days to cross, they covered in hours. You move like you were born here, Kira said as they paused beside a swollen river. I was, Cole reminded her. This is what humans do. We adapt, we overcome. We do not let anything stop us. They reached the other team's camp at sunset on the second day. There were 3. The Lorians huddled around a 4th, who lay motionless on the ground. The Lorians were tall and thin, with glowing skin that pulsed with soft light. The light from the injured one was very dim. Thank the ancestors. The senior Valorian gasped when she saw them. We activated the beacon, but we did not dare hope anyone would come. Cole knelt beside the injured cadet. She was young, probably a first year, with a massive wound on her stomach. Her skin was dark with internal bleeding. Her breathing was shallow and weak. What happened? Cole asked. A tree fell during the storm. She tried to run, but was not fast enough. The Valorian's voice shook. We tried to help her, but we do not know human medicine. We do not know Earth medicine. What happened to your 4th team member? The Valorian's glow dimmed. He went to find help. 2 days ago. He has not returned. Cole understood what that meant. 2 days in this terrain, after a storm like that, meant only one thing. But he kept his face calm. I need to examine her wound, he said. I have medical training. It is something humans learn. The Valorian stepped back. Cole gently touched the injured cadet's stomach, trying to understand what he was feeling through alien tissue. The injury was serious. Internal organs damaged. Significant blood loss. But she was still alive, which meant her species could heal if given the chance. I can stabilize her, he said. But I need help from all of you. And you need to trust me, even when what I do seems strange. For the next several hours, Cole worked harder than he had ever worked in his life. He used techniques from human emergency medicine, adapted for Valorian biology based on what little he knew. He made tools from forest materials. He had Tith hold the patient still while Kira monitored her vital signs. Sorrel kept watch for predators, thought it was messy. It was desperate. It was exactly the kind of thing his father had prepared him for. When Cole finally sat back, exhausted, the injured cadet was breathing more steadily. The internal bleeding had stopped. Her skin was starting to glow a little brighter. She needs real medical care, Cole said. But she will survive long enough to get it. We need to call for extraction. But our assignment, Sorrel said weakly. If we call for help before 30 days, we fail. Cole looked at the Phylaxian. At all of them. His teammates. His friends. The injured Valorian who would have died without their help. Then we fail, he said simply. Some things are more important than grades. He activated the emergency beacon. The extraction team arrived within 2 hours. Coalition medical ships descended from the sky, filling the forest with light. Doctors rushed to the injured cadet, loading her onto a stretcher with quick, efficient movements. As they carried her to the ship, she briefly opened her eyes. She looked at Cole. Human, she whispered. Why did you risk yourself for strangers? Cole thought about the question. Thought about his father, who once drove through a blizzard to help a neighbor. Thought about his mother, who volunteered at the local emergency services. Thought about all the humans throughout history who had run toward danger instead of away from it. Because that is what we do, he said. That is what Earth taught us. When things get hard, you help each other. No exceptions. The extraction team loaded all of them onto the medical transport. Cole watched through the window as the green forest fell away beneath them. The trees became tiny. The rivers became silver threads. The mountains became shadows on the horizon. He had failed the course. His assignment was incomplete. Everything he had worked for at the academy was gone. But looking at his teammates, looking at the Valorian who was already showing signs of recovery, he found that he did not care. His father would have been proud. The ship rose higher, breaking through the clouds into bright sunshine. Below them, Earth continued to spin, beautiful and dangerous and full of life. Cole, Kira said quietly. She was sitting beside him, her forearms wrapped around herself. What you did today, the rescue, the surgery, the decision to call for help despite the consequences. Yes? That is why humans will change the galaxy. Cole turned to look at her. What do you mean? Every species in the coalition thinks about survival, about strength, about winning. Kira's purple eyes were thoughtful. Humans think about helping, about sacrifice, about doing what is right even when it costs everything. Tith rumbled in agreement. I have known many warriors. Few would have done what you did today. It was not bravery, Cole said. It was just what you do. What humans do. Exactly, Kira said. And that is what makes your species remarkable. You do not even realize how extraordinary you are. To you, risking your life for strangers is normal, obvious, just what you do. Sorrel's feathers ruffled. The Coalition has hundreds of species with claws and armor and natural weapons. But humans have something more powerful than any of those things. What is that? Cole asked. Compassion, Sorrel said. The ability to care about others more than yourself. To run toward danger when everyone else runs away. To fail a test in order to save a life. Cole looked out the window at Earth falling away below them. His home, the world that had made him who he was. Maybe Sorrel was right. Maybe that was what Earth had given humanity. Not just strength. Not just survival skills. But the understanding that no one survives alone. That helping others is not weakness. That compassion is the greatest tool of all. The ship broke through the atmosphere, and the stars appeared. Millions of them. Billions. Each one a sun. Maybe with planets of its own. Maybe with life of its own. What will happen now? Sorrel asked. When we return to the Academy. We failed our assignment. I do not know, Cole admitted. Maybe they will expel us. Maybe we will have to repeat the year. Maybe our careers are over before they started. And you are not worried about that? Cole smiled. My father used to say that doing the right thing and doing the easy thing are rarely the same. He said you can tell the measure of a person by what they choose when the two conflict. Your father sounds like a wise man, Kira said. He was. Cole's smile faded slightly. He died 2 years ago. Heart attack. I never got to say goodbye. The cabin was quiet for a moment. Then Tith reached out with one massive stone hand and placed it on Cole's shoulder. He would be proud of you today, the Gorvian said. Any father would be. Cole nodded, not trusting his voice. Through the window, Earth had become a small blue marble, beautiful and distant. He did not know what waited for them at the Academy. Did not know if his career was over or just beginning. Did not know what the future held, but he knew one thing for certain. He had done the right thing, and that was enough. The return to the Academy was nothing like Cole expected. Word of the rescue had spread before they even arrived. When their ship docked, cadets lined the corridors to watch them pass. Some stared with curiosity. Others looked at them with something that resembled respect. A few even saluted. Commander Zethril was waiting outside the medical bay. His glowing skin pulsed with colors. Cole had learned to associate with complex emotions. Cadet Harris, the commander said, your assignment is marked as incomplete. You understand the consequences? Yes, sir. You also understand that by responding to another team's distress signal, you violated 17 separate Academy rules. Yes, sir. Zethril studied him with ancient eyes. The injured cadet, Specialist Vethela, will make a full recovery. The doctors say that without your help, she would have died within hours. Cole said nothing. There was nothing to say. The Academy Board has reviewed your case, Zethril continued. They considered everything. The circumstances. The outcomes. The unusual nature of what you did. He paused. For a moment, Cole thought he saw a smile on the commander's face. They have decided that your assignment will count as complete. With honors. Cole blinked. Sir? Furthermore, your team's performance has been named a new standard for cooperation between species. The techniques you developed will be added to Academy training. Kira stepped forward. Commander, if I may. Cadet Harris saved our lives many times. His knowledge of Earth was the only reason we survived. He did not just complete the assignment. He taught us how to see that world as something other than an enemy. Tith rumbled agreement. I have known many warriors. Few have impressed me like this human. He understands that true strength is not about conquering your environment. It is about living in harmony with it. He saved my life, Sorrel added quietly. More than once. He treated me as a teammate worth protecting. That is rare. That is. Zethral listened to everything. Then he turned back to Cole. Cadet Harris, the Academy has one more matter to discuss. Given your skills and your unique perspective, we would like to offer you a position. An instructor for next year's Earth Survival course. You would continue your own studies while teaching teams about your homeworld. The offer hung in the air. Cole thought about what it would mean. More time on Earth. More chances to share what he knew. More opportunities to show the galaxy that humans were not just survivors. I would be honored. Sir, he said. That evening, Cole stood alone in the observation room, watching the stars through the massive windows. Somewhere out there was a small yellow sun with a small blue planet where he had learned everything that mattered. Kira found him there. She walked up beside him, her forearms folded in a posture of peace. You are thinking about Earth, she said. Always. Even here, part of me is still there. Still listening for wind in the trees. Still smelling rain on dry ground. Still feeling mountain air on my face. You miss it. Every day. He turned to look at her. But missing something means you loved it. And loving something means it is part of you, no matter where you go. Kira was quiet for a moment. Humans are strange, Cole Harris. You come from a death world, yet you speak of love. You face constant danger, yet you find beauty. You have every reason to fear, yet you choose hope. That is Earth, Cole said. That is what it teaches you. When every day might be your last, you appreciate each one. When the world is trying to kill you, survival becomes a miracle. He looked back at the stars. Before the assignment, I heard cadets talking about Earth. They called it impossible. A death world. A place no sane species would choose to live. And now? Now I think they understand. Earth did not make humans strong by being easy. It made us strong by being hard. Every challenge, every danger, every disaster taught us something. About survival. About cooperation. About hope. Cole remembered something his father told him once, during a bad winter when the power went out and they had to survive by firelight for 3 days. My father said Earth was not trying to kill us. It was trying to teach us. And the only way to learn was to survive long enough to understand. Kira placed one of her hands on his shoulder. A gesture of friendship that crossed the gap between species. When I return home, she said, I will tell my people about Earth, about humans, about what I learned in those 30 days. What will you tell them? That the galaxy has underestimated your species. That your death world did not create monsters. It created teachers. That the challenges you faced made you something remarkable. And what is that? Hopeful, Kira said. In a galaxy full of species who fear the unknown, humans embrace it. You see danger as opportunity. You treat challenges as lessons. You never stop believing tomorrow can be better. Cole felt something release in his chest. A tension he had carried since long before the academy. The feeling of being different. Of being alone. Of being the strange one from the impossible world. Maybe that was his gift. Maybe being different was what he had to offer. The countdown is over, he said. The assignment is complete. But I do not think the lesson is finished. What lesson? He turned to face the stars, to face the infinite possibilities spread before him. That Earth is not just a survival world. It is a teacher. Humanity has been learning its lessons for thousands of years. The question is not whether we can survive anywhere in the galaxy. The question is what we do with everything we have learned. They stood together in comfortable silence. Human and alien, watching the stars wheel past the windows. The next morning, Cole began preparing his first teaching materials. He wrote about tracking and shelter building and weather prediction. He wrote about bear behavior and plan identification and emergency medicine. But mostly, he wrote about perspective, about seeing the forest instead of just the trees, about working with nature instead of against it. Word spread quickly about the human instructor. Requests came in from dozens of teams who wanted to train on Earth. Cadets who had never considered the planet began studying its ecosystems with fresh eyes. The terrifying death world was slowly becoming something else, a challenge, a teacher, a chance to grow. Cole stood in front of his first class, looking at 20 alien faces staring back at him. They were nervous, scared, exactly like his teammates had been on that first day in the forest. "Welcome to Earth Survival 101, he said. "My name is Cole Harris. I am human. I grew up on the planet you are all terrified of." Nervous laughter rippled through the room. "Over the next 30 days, I am going to teach you everything I know about surviving on Earth. But more importantly, I am going to teach you how to see it differently. Not as an enemy, not as a death world, but as a teacher." He pulled up an image on the screen behind him. Earth, beautiful and blue and green, hanging in the darkness of space. "The galaxy claimed no cadet could survive Earth," Cole said. "They were wrong. And by the end of this course, you will understand why." He smiled at his students, at the future, at all the lessons still waiting to be learned. "Let us begin." Outside the windows, the stars continued their eternal dance. Somewhere among them, Earth waited patiently, ready to teach anyone brave enough to listen. And humanity, forged in fire and storm and endless challenge, was just getting started. The end.